Hey guys. Okay, so in this lesson, we're going to take some of the exponential rules that we have been working on in this unit and kind of apply them with some kind of real life-ish examples. And so we're going to specifically in section 8.5 and 8.6 be looking at exponential growth or decay. Now, exponential growth, kind of like picture what's been happening in Italy, and as I make this video, US isn't this bad yet, but kind of like COVID, what they're saying could happen for how many people are sick. Exponential decay, kind of what's been happening with some people's maybe investments. If your parents have much money invested, stock market, kind of been looking that way lately. Not so good. But anyways, the basic formulas for exponential growth or decay. Y equals, you've got a C on the outside, and that number is our initial amount of something, so whatever it is that we're starting with. In parentheses, we've got 1 plus R. R is your rate, and whatever your rate is, you want to make sure that you express it as a decimal. And then the T up here makes sense that it stands for time. Now, if we have exponential growth, so it's going up, then this is going to be a plus 1 plus R here. And so this number overall will be bigger than 1. If it's exponential decay, then we're going to change that and it'll be a 1 minus R. So the number in here will be less than 1. I'm just going to say plus or minus for right now, depending on what scenario we've got. Okay, first example. If we have money in the bank and we're going to be earning some interest on that money, like if you have it in a savings account, and we want to find out how much money we'd have after a certain number of years, our money should have gone up. And so this would be an example of exponential growth. So if we, let's say here, money in the bank. So let's say you put $100 in the bank, you get $100 for your birthday, let's say. And let's say interest rates aren't this high, but let's say you got 5, no, actually, no, I don't want to do 5 because I got a 5 down there. Let's go 2% interest rate, which even that is high for right now. And let's say you wanted to find out how much money you had left after 5 years. So Y equals, so the C value is how much money we put in the bank to start with. So that's going to be a 100, parentheses 1. Our money is growing, our interest is making it go up, so plus 2% interest. So 2% as a decimal would be 0.02. So I'm going to go 0.02 raised to the T power. My time is in years. If this, we have to make sure that these units jive. This would be 2% interest per year. Amount after 5 years, so this would be 5. The only time that they sometimes might try to trip you up on that a little bit, if it was like 2% interest per year, and it said the dollar amount after it said 365 days, you wouldn't put 365 up here. You'd have to do 1 in terms of it being 1 year. If I am asking you to do this without a calculator, then I would just ask you to set this up. And so writing it like that would be totally fine. If I were actually asking, I really wanted to know what the Y value was, you're going to pop this in your calculator. Be super careful when you do that to use parentheses, or if you're even using the calculator on your phone. If I were using the calculator on my phone, I would go 1 point plus 0.02. I know that that's 1.02. You don't have to type it in. Think a little bit when you're doing that. Raise that. Think about order of operations, right? We have to raise to the power before we multiply. So do 1.02, raise to the 5th power, hit enter, find what that is, and then multiply that by 100. Then you get the Y value. So just be cautious about some of those things, that if you are using an electronic device to come up with the answers on some of these. If you are sending me homework for these, don't give me just the final answer. I want to see your equation as well, please. Okay, second example, exponential decay, because if you buy a new car, or if you buy any car, it usually is going to go down in value as soon as you drive that off the lot. So let's say we buy a car for $25,000. It depreciates. You found out it was going to depreciate at, let's say, 8% per year. And let's say we want to find the value of the car after 3 years. So it's going to be the same type equation. Starting value in this case was how much we paid for our car. So 25,000 times 1. In this case, it's not going up in value every year. It's going down in value. So it's going to be 1 minus 8% as a decimal. So 0.08 raised to the how many years after. If I said let's find the value after 3 years, we'd put a 3 in. So again, Show me your equation right now. Be careful when you type it in. Make sure your answer makes sense. You should be able to look at your answer on some of these, and if you're like, oh, that doesn't make any sense at all, then kind of go back to the drawing board and figure out what you didn't type in correctly. There we go, 8.5 and 8.6, exponential growth and decay. See you soon.